You can't make this stuff up. The View's trying to dodge defamation cases left and right with hasty legal notes every time, but it's honestly getting out of hand as Sunny Hostin didn't even spare Pam Bondi as Donald Trump's new pick for Attorney General. Listen to what she said, as well as the rare disagreement from Ana Navarro that speaks volumes about how much trouble the show could get into.
Since this is Trump's second term, isn't he now considered a lame duck? No, and why do these Republicans feel the need to have to just bow to him now when they're not going to really get anything out of him?
Well, they have 4 more years, Joy. But, you know, to Anna's point, let me say this. We're all thrilled that Matt Gaetz, I agree with you, Alyssa, he would have been a very dangerous pick for the Department of Justice. But his new pick, Trump's new pick, Pam Bondi, I believe she's a dangerous pick as well because she is, she supported Trump's false election claim. She was involved in the efforts to overturn the results. And so that is now the person that's going to be the chief law enforcement.
Let me say this. She was on television. You know, that's the primary requisite.
Look, I have known Pam Bondi for many, many, many years. I will tell you, I don't want to ruin her reputation with MAGA people, but Pam Bondi and I hung out a lot when she was Attorney General of Florida and she would come to Miami. We drank a lot together. I liked her a lot. She's not a kook. What's a little election denialism between friends? When, you know, at least, listen, everything in life is relative, people.
Election denialism is a very big deal.
We got to take the wins where we can find them, folks.
Can I continue saying this? Everything in life is relative. There is no accusation of sexual harassment or assault against her. There's no accusation of
also qualified.
sexual misconduct with a 17-year-old. She hasn't killed, beheaded a whale. She hasn't stabbed a dead bear cub. I mean, my God.
But we can't minimize some of the things that she has done. And I think we have a clip of some of her former comments.
I have to say the left would be very ungrateful if it doesn't like Matt Gaetz being swapped out for Pam Bondi. And you know why? What Sunny Hostin said there at the end leaves out a critical piece of information about Pam, perhaps deliberately, that could spell legal trouble for her and The View. By the way, we've got our eyes on it if that happens, so subscribe and hit the notification bell to be the first to see it. Now, truth is, Pam Bondi has been a pretty vocal supporter of Donald Trump for at least 6 years, but it's straight up false to say she was involved in any alleged attempts at forcefully overthrowing the election. Pam, having been an attorney general in the state of Florida, was part of a close-knit legal team of attorneys offering Trump advice when he took his claims of election fraud to court. That lies in a completely different universe to helping overthrow an election. And in fact, if anything, Pam Bondi has been more silent in echoing Trump's claims that the election was stolen, and even came out to condemn the violence on J6 in some now deleted tweets. That's why when Ana Navarro said politics is relative, she is right. For the left, Pam Bondi should be an improvement over Matt Gaetz, and needless slander like the one from Sunny Hostin surely digs them into deeper trouble, especially if it is implied that Trump's financial donations to Pam Bondi's election campaign were a transaction to save himself from legal trouble without any evidence. So as we've seen several times just this week, she was forced to offer yet another legal note in what looks like the longest 20 seconds of Sunny Hostin's life.
Sorry, everyone, I have another legal note. Both Trump and Pam Bondi have denied allegations of a quid pro quo that his past donation played any role in her office's decision to not take legal action against Trump University when she was, of course, the Attorney General of Florida.
Oh, this show is going to be just legal notes and things we're selling.
And this is right after yet another legal note that's making the rounds after Sunny Hostin made some pretty troublesome insinuations alleging Matt Gaetz' involvement in a relationship with a minor. ABC News simply cannot afford to drown into protracted legal trouble over one of their show's panelists practically throwing them under the bus after losing control in their hatred for the other side.
Maybe he's doing it because he wants to make sure they look good on screen. Sunny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism, that DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought. I have a legal note.
Do you want to take this one, Joy, or are you
Matt
good?
Gaetz has long denied all allegations and has not been charged with any crime.
How long do you think before we see Sunny Hostin becoming too big of a burden for The View, or maybe The View becoming too big of a burden for ABC News? That's because we're hearing some pretty uncomfortable news for the left-wing network that it may soon be forced to stand on its own 2 feet financially, as we see a ripple across Comcast and Disney to cut down costs and drop needlessly controversial names. And if you've been following the 4 legal notes that The View has been forced to make in just the span of a week, you realize that they're really just shooting themselves in the foot. If you want to give Anna Navarro some credit for at least slowing that down, you can, but it's also because Anna knows Pam Bondi personally and has been friends or drinking buddies with her in Miami.
Pam Bondi very well. I don't want to cause her harm. Listen, Pam Bondi, like other Republicans, is a mainstream Republican who turned MAGA. She was Attorney General of Florida for 8 years. I will tell you, she is not an ogre. She is not a jerk. She's not a person who purposely wants to come across as being, the kind of person that Matt Gaetz wants to come across as being. She has been an early loyalist of Donald Trump. Back in the 2016 primaries, she was a loyalist of him, even though Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio were running. I think with Pam Bondi, he gets loyalty, which matters a lot to him. And she hasn't committed statutory or been accused of it. She hasn't been accused of sexual assault. She hasn't sawed the head off a whale or stabbed a dead bear cub. So all in all, I'd say she's one of the better picks.
Now remember, Pam Bondi, despite having more legal qualifications than Matt Gaetz because she's already been a state AG, she also doesn't come across a blind loyalist to the degree that Matt was, as evident from her response to J6. So if anything, for a position as important as the country's Attorney General, the Democrats may have to see it as an improvement, especially because over the last 2 years in particular, the party's fearmongered about a potential next Trump presidency weaponizing the Justice Department against his political opponents. While yes, Pam Bondi has been involved in pushing forward an impeachment trial against Joe Biden over his son's alleged foreign business dealings, it'd be a stretch to say too quickly that Pam Bondi wouldn't become a weapon in Donald Trump's hand to wage some sort of lawfare against his opponents. And yet in the last few weeks after November 5th, The View has almost been leading the charge against a series of attacks of Trump's new cabinet picks, one after the other. Right now, the 3-decade-old show stands on a volatile ground as it regards the mainstream media landscape. Most left-wing outlets, including MSNBC and CNN, have seen a sharp drop in ratings and viewership, along with rumors that many of the biggest media conglomerates are thinking about downsizing their businesses to cut costs. That means with every single allegation, then legal note that Sunny Hostin is forced to read on air, she's giving the producers another reason that it may be time to just retire the show. But even if that doesn't happen, public trust in the mainstream media is already eroded to the point that nothing said on panels like these really matters anymore, indenting the electorate. Let me know in the comments if you agree and share this video across your social media to get the word out. I think we're witnessing the last breaths of an old media that's lashing out to retain relevance that it knows it won't have for long.